everyone, this is Teacher Marian. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe, and don't forget mine.
Hello students! In our subject Assessment of Learning 2, we will tackle about authentic assessment tools. For today's video, you will be able to explain the three important aspects or concepts accompanying authentic assessment. Identify and explain the three modes of authentic assessment. Explain the different assessment tools of the three modes of assessment. And lastly, formulate assessment tools for each of the three modes of assessment. There are three important aspects or concepts that should accompany any type of authentic assessment. These are connecting, reflecting, and feedback. Let's go on first to the first aspect, the connecting. A key feature of many authentic strategies is that students are required to connect facts, concepts, and principles together in unique ways to solve problems or produce products. According to Glaser in 1988, the most important evidence collected through assessment of this is coherence of knowledge. Glaser goes on to observe that beginner's knowledge is spotty and superficial, but as learning progresses, understanding becomes integrated and structured. Thus, assessment should tap the connectedness of concepts and the student's ability to access interrelated chunks. Authentic assessments are almost always framed in the form of learning experiences. These experiences are typically sequenced from simple to complex and are progressive in nature. An important role of teacher facilitators is to help students connect the knowledge and skills learned in previous tasks and then extend them to related or more complex tasks. Transfer of knowledge and skills is enhanced when students recognize the connectedness of learning. The second important aspect is reflecting. The range of available options for teachers wishing to improve student assessment extends beyond the cognitive and psychomotor domains to include assessment of attitudes and other affective behaviors. The key element here is to help students develop their self-awareness and reflective skills. Students need to learn how to assess their own work and to think about their thinking. A key aspect of many forms of authentic assessment is the opportunities that are provided for students to reflect on their thinking, practices, and learning. The technical term for this type of reflective process is metacognition. Lastly is the feedback. Another important outcome of authentic assessment has to do with providing feedback to learners related to significant objectives. Wiggins, in 1993, notes that many teachers erroneously believe they are providing feedback with test scores and coded comments such as good work, vague, and awkward. What is wanted and needed by learner is user-friendly information about performance and how improvement can be made. Learners need information that will help them self-assess and self-correct so that assessment becomes integrated throughout the learning experience. Wiggins draws subtle but important distinction between guidance and feedback. Guidance gives direction, whereas feedback tells one whether or not they are on course or right direction. Guidance is typically teacher-initiated and tends to be prescriptive. By contrast, feedback actively involves and engages the learner. Frequently, the process collaborative and reflective. The teacher and student become partners in the learning process. Figuratively, feedback techniques are those experiences that help students see themselves and their performance more clearly. Throughout the assessment process, students are provided with real-time information about the quality of their performance. Wigan notes that feedback is more like a running commentary rather than measurement. It enables learners to monitor their performance, thinking about whether or not they're on the right track without labeling or censoring their performance. Authentic assessment makes use of the three modes of assessment: observation, performance samples, and actual performance. Let's start with observation. Observation, which includes data and information that the teacher collects from daily work with students. To make observation-based assessments systematic and objective, Diane Hart in 1994 suggested the following guidelines. First, observe not only one but all the students. Second, observation must be frequent and regular as possible. Third, observations must be recorded in writing. Fourth, observation should cover both routine and exceptional occurrences. Lastly, reliability of observation records is enhanced if multiple observations are gathered and synthesized. Observation-based assessment tools. First one is the Developmental Checklist. This is an observation tool which requires the teacher to describe the traits or learning behaviors being assessed. This gives a moving picture of the student's progress towards the desired competencies. The example below shows this. Gross Motor Skills Development Checklist. Second one is the Interview Sheet. Is another observation tool which is also called Conference Recording Form. It consists of a list of questions the teacher intends to ask and space for recording the students' answers. The example below shows this. On the second one, performance samples are tangible results that demonstrate student achievements compiled in a portfolio. What is portfolio? A portfolio is a compilation of pieces of evidence of an individual's skills, ideas, interests, and accomplishments. It includes essays, videotapes, audio tapes, pictures, graphic or chart, artwork, compact disc, and field reports, and many more. The portfolio serves the following purposes. The teacher can assess the growth and development of the students at various levels. Also, parents are informed of the progress of their children. And lastly, instructional supervisors are able to evaluate the strength and weaknesses of the academic programs. Performance assessment tools. Student achievements at a specific place and time are actual students' performance. The following are the performance assessment tools. Performance checklist. It consists of behaviors that make up a certain type of performance. Example is using a microscope, baking cake, encoding, and etc. So, below is an example of performance checklist. This is a performance checklist in solving mathematical problems. Oral questioning. Oral questioning is an appropriate assessment method for actual performance when the objectives are: first, to assess the student's top knowledge, and or to determine the student's ability to communicate ideas in coherent verbal sentences. In using oral questioning, several factors need to be considered. Of particular are the student's state of mind and feelings, anxiety, nervousness in making oral presentations that could mask in making oral presentations, and that could mask the student's true ability. Observation and self-report. Observation needs a tally sheet as device used by the teacher to record the frequency of students' behavior, activities, or remarks. A self-checklist is a list of several characteristics or activities presented by the subject of study. The students are asked to study the list and then to place a mark opposite the characteristics that they possess or activities in which they have engaged for a particular length of time. So that's the end of this video. If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Don't forget the code. Bye-bye.